What's up? Today I'm going to tell you exactly why some of your ads actually are only able to spend a couple $100s and then actually break, or your ads don't scale at all. If you have an ecom store, if you're running paid ads, for example, Facebook ads, then this video is exactly for you. These are basically 9 direct response elements right here that your ad should have or could have. And before I get into these, I want to say a couple things about it. Now, these are all qualifiers, which means the more of these you have in there, the more qualified or warmed up the people that actually come to your store are going to be. Therefore, higher the conversion rate. These people are worth more, and Facebook is not stupid. Facebook knows that, which means the more qualifiers you have, the more expensive your traffic is, but also the higher the conversion rate is. If you have fewer of these qualifiers, then you get cheaper traffic, but also you get lower conversion rates on your ad specifically. And so this is the first takeaway that you can get from this video, is that you actually set up a specific custom column on your ads manager, which is called conversion rate. And ads specifically have different conversion rates. Most people, if they think about conversion rates, only think about offers, right? They only think about websites. They only think about Shopify stores, but your ads convert very, very differently. And the goal of your ad is not only to get you cheap traffic. In fact, oftentimes, right, cheaper ads, like if they convert so much worse, but they are just give you cheap traffic, right, that doesn't mean at all that it's a better ad than like if another ad has a double the CPC but triple the conversion rate, that means that is the better ad. Right? And so you should look at the return of ad spend. If you compare that to your store, that would be the revenue per visitor, right? That's what you should look at on your store. And on your ads, you should look at the ROAS. You should look at the cost per acquisition. However, how you get there might vary a lot, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you can get your customers. And so these here are qualifiers that you can all basically look at like a checklist. And the more of these you actually include, the more expensive your traffic will get, but the higher your conversion rate on your ads will be. All right, so let's actually break them down. Now, basically, these are the first 3 that apply to the hook. First one is a specific call out, right? So most people already fail at is kind of, just basically not even knowing who they sell to. So kind of a pre-step to this, before even we get into breaking down every single direct response element, you need to understand who you sell to. You need to know exactly who your dream perfect 10 out of 10 customer is. And so that's why I always recommend making a customer avatar, like a profile, just figuring out step by step exactly who your dream perfect customer is, even giving them a fake name. Like, just think about a person who would be a perfect human being for my offer. Okay, so before you even start making your ads, scripting your ads, building your store, you have to know for the product that you sell or for the problem that you solve, who is the perfect customer. And so the very first element, the very first step to basically the very first qualifier that you can have is a very specific call out, right? So the more specific you are, the more narrow, the more niche down you go, the more expensive your traffic will get, obviously, because Facebook will show the ad to the same amount of people, but fewer people are going to click. However, again, as I just said before, the people that click are going to convert higher because they feel more called out, right? That's step number 1. Step number 2 is proof, right? So every single time that you don't have proof, make your ad shorter, right? Just quickly go through it. This works especially well, for example, TikTok ads. If you've seen them, there's barely any proof there. And with proof, there's a difference between normal proof and social proof, right? So social proof, what I'm going to get into in a second, is really just, reviews and testimonials of other people. Proof is, for example, really specifically a story that you tell in your ads, right? So if it's like a UGC type of concept, that a creator can actually turn on the camera and talk about, okay, hey, this is how this is looking like. That's just a beauty product, right? Let's say the creator shows them the before and after, for example. That would be direct proof, not social proof, not from other people around the creator, but actual proof from the creators themselves. This is number 2. Again, the more of this you add in, the fewer people will click, because the fewer people will resonate, but the people that do, right, actually convert higher. And this is this is a pattern that you're going to recognize through all of these elements, right? Third thing is curiosity. This is something which basically all of my ads have, and I recommend you to have that as well. And the job of your ad is never to sell. Okay, that's not the job of your ad. The job of the website is to actually convert people. When it comes to making ads, your entire goal, your entire kind of the point of it is to make people curious enough to click on it. That's when an ad converts. Okay, so you essentially you never want to give away everything. Okay, you just want to spark their curiosity as much as possible, but to find out more, they ultimately have to click on the ad, right? So don't reveal everything. Okay, so let's say you show a little bit, or let's say you reveal only part of the offer, or don't mention the offer at all. Basically, don't give away all of it. If you have these three, that's pretty much it for the hook, right? So this is like, obviously I'm not going to talk here about aesthetics and text placement and pacing. Like, all these things are basics, I would say. And if you have like an ad which is, which has perfect text placement, which has emojis, which doesn't have any capitalized letters so that it's feminine and aesthetic, which has a cool music, the right audio and everything, that's basic. All right, so this is really, these elements are beyond that. Okay, so what I would not do is have all of these. I would definitely not recommend you to have all of these 6 in every single one of your ads, right? Because your CPC is going to be super high. Even if your conversion rates are higher, it's like oftentimes the CPC is just going to be too high and you're not going to get away with it. Okay, so first one, or the fourth one, objection handling. So obviously know that the website's job is to sell. However, what people don't really know is like you can already pre-handle a lot of objections that your customers or prospects can really have, right? So it's like oftentimes people, let's say clothing, right? Let's take clothing as an example. People oftentimes struggle with sizing, right? So you could already say, okay, let's say you have a one size fits all solution. You could mention that, and that is objection handling. And the more of these you add in, again, the fewer people will click, but the more qualified the people that click are going to be. Number 5 is to actually talk about the benefit of the benefit, right? So most people just really kind of just mention the technical benefits or just scratch the surface of everything, but you really need to understand what's the true benefit behind that benefit. What's the desire that people actually want to achieve if they take your offer? What's the dream outcome? Okay, and if you don't talk about that in your ads, of course it's going to be more people that click on it, just because like if you mention some quick technical benefits, your ad is going to be shorter, it's going to engage with more people. But if you actually mention the true desires, it's going to resonate with fewer people, but again, those fewer people are going to resonate much more with it. This goes kind of hand in hand with the customer avatar, with the profile that you make. And so figure out the true desires of your customers and then actually just give them or tell them what they want to hear. All right, 6th is social proof. I would definitely recommend you to have social proof in all of your ads, right? To mention how many people are using it, how many customers you have, show different types of people, whatever, right? So this is never a bad thing. Social proof is pretty much always a very, very good qualifier. Simplicity, right? So show them how easy it is to like actually reach the dream outcome. A lot of people overstress it. They show them, okay, you have to do this and then that and people just scroll past it, right? Show them that it's actually super simple if they take your offer, that they reach the dream outcome. But once again, if you add in this qualifier, it's gonna basically disqualify a lot of people. But again, and I'm saying this a million times, if you have more of these, right, for example, simplicity, like the people that actually come to your store are going to be more qualified. Now, 8th thing is authority, right? So if you have someone who actually is a professional or an expert in that topic, in that problem that you solve, actually backing up your claims, it's like optimally with some proof, with some data behind it, okay? Some studies, whatever. And 9th is pain. This is again something which kind of goes hand in hand in selling, right? So it's like you kind of take away the website's job already, which is the same as objection handling, right? So just really dig into the pain of your customers. And this goes also kind of hand in hand with the benefit of the benefit. If you know what the true desire is, there's always a pain behind that, right? Obviously there's a need, there's a pain, and you should dig and actually show and present them that pain. Like for example, let's say you sell something for teeth whitening, right? Then you can just show them like they're some terrible teeth and just tell them what this is going to happen and this is how people are going to treat you and this is how your life is going to look, and you could make it as bad as possible, right, for them what happens if they don't take your offer. Like present them the cost of inaction, their pain right now. The more you do this, again, this is a very, very good strong qualifier that actually gets you very high quality traffic. And again, like this is really important. I'm going to mention this again, and I mentioned this a million times already. Like the more of these qualifiers you have in your ad, right, the fewer people are going to click. However, the fewer people that do click convert higher, right? And so it really comes down to testing both, because you can't guess, okay, well, I'm going to have 0.5% higher click-through rate, but and I'm also going to have a 0.6 higher percent conversion rate, so it's worth it. You don't know that yet. The only way to find that out is by actually just testing this stuff, right? So let's actually take a look at the multiple touch points, or the funnel, the ad funnel that really that most brands have, and that you should have to have if you really want to scale, right? Because what most people do is they show them a top of funnel ad, a normal ad, and then just send them to their product page, and that is everything. But if you scale, if you start scaling, what's going to happen is your ads get shown to more unaware people, right? People have just no clue who you are, what problem even they encounter, what solution you present, and why you are a better competitor than all the others. They just have no clue basically of anything that you say or do or are, right? So an ad funnel that works, so it's super important to understand that a lot of people have a lot of touch points with your brand before they actually buy, right? So top of funnel is the very first thing that they see, right? So this is really the broad traffic. This is really the first ad that you show to everyone, right? So this one should probably be something which has fewer qualifiers in them, right? With the ones we just talked about, and actually gets you cheaper traffic, because here you just want to really just focus on volume, right? You just want to get more people knocking on the door. Now, middle of funnel is someone who's already maybe visited the website once but hasn't bought yet. This is the perfect time to just hit them with more qualifiers, to just remind them, to give them more arguments to go deeper in, especially the paid, especially the social proof, especially the objection handling, because they need some more advice. They need more like reminders why it's important that they buy right now. And then guess what? Most people are still not going to buy. And then bottom of funnel are people who already bought from you once, or maybe people who just abandoned their checkouts. They obviously need much different messaging, completely different messaging than top of funnel people. And so with bottom of funnel, you really should focus on just converting, right? So this is where you hit them with every single qualifier right here, with every single element, and just really push them so hard. And yes, bottom of funnel traffic is going to be more expensive because of that, but the conversion rates of bottom of funnel traffic are insane, right? Because those people already know you. It's not their first time engaging with you, and so they already have more trust. And then if you hit them with all the qualifiers possible, they will convert. An example for this would be like an offer focused image ad, right? So it's like if you have an image ad, it's just slap the offer on with the price, everything. Like that's like if you show that to a top of funnel person, he's going to think, bro, pause, who the hell are you, right? But a bottom of funnel person is going to react completely differently. So this is a very strong ad funnel. And what's also super important, what most people ignore, is that in between the ad funnel on only one channel, people are going to have a lot of different touch points with you from outside. So let's say after the top of funnel ad, they might Google you, right? So they see a Google ad, then let's say a couple days later, you post an IG story, they see that again, and then you show them a middle of funnel ad. And let's say they abandon checkout, well, now you should send them an email, right? You have the email address, so let's say they sign up for a newsletter, for a pop-up, to get some discounts, then you send them an email, boom, bottom of funnel ad, and then they buy. And this right here, this construct here is the reason why most people fail. And why? Because people don't have any tracking in place. So you need to really have the tracking in place with the entire customer journey that just shows you, okay, well, this was the exact creative that the person that I just bought, like a very expensive customer that you probably over this entire process are going to pay over like $20, $30, $40 for, if you have remonetization in place, which is retargeting, which is making people buy again, whatever, or just a very expensive upfront offer, obviously, then you're just going to be able to scale still. But you need to understand, what was the first creative that I showed them? Did they ever see a Google ad? Did they ever get an email? And what was the bottom of funnel ad that they actually bought on? And if you have the tracking in place and the right ad funnel in place, that's how you scale to really unaware audiences, right? It's not just, doesn't just come down to still showing them only one ad creative, just slapping this qualifier to them. That's not how it works. So you have to really smoothly kind of funnel them through the entire process. That's why it's called a funnel, until they buy. Okay, really important. And like I said before, creative testing is a numbers game, because every person reacts very differently to each ad concept. If you and one of your friends would sit down and just scroll on Insta Reels for an hour, you would see completely different stuff, right? So Facebook is already pretty smart and knows what you react to and what you don't. And Facebook knows that for every person. And volume negates luck. So even if after watching this video, you have the theory behind it, you know what to do technically, but you still likely won't be able to replicate it. And the only reason for that is that you don't have the skills yet. Okay, so this is really just the theory. This is not you don't have the skills. This is basically, if you don't implement this right now, this was a waste of your time. I just want to mention that, right? So definitely try to learn this and to understand this and to try this for the next time you test creatives, right? Implement all of these, right? And try to actually kind of do a smooth like on purpose leaving some qualifiers out to not get too expensive traffic and just see what happens, right? So I don't want anything from you for this video. I just want to actually use to try this on your own, see what happens, right? So if you've liked this video, if I could help you out, write your main takeaway into the comments, because that's always super interesting for me to see. And then I want to say thank you so much for giving me your time and your attention, which are truly your most important assets. And I wish you a beautiful day.